Welcome back in, man. Today we're just gonna kind of talk about what went wrong against the Panthers. Well, really only one specific thing that went wrong against the Panthers. We're gonna talk about the pass protection, just the blocking in general. What kind of went wrong? What did I see? I watched the game again. It was pretty bad, honestly. Lack of communication, just missed blocks, just nothing went well for those guys. So we'll just start with communication issues, man. No one's on the same page. The coaches don't didn't seem to be on the same page, with the linemen, with the quarterback, with the running backs, sliding left, sliding right, just leaving guys wide open to run free at the quarterback. Things like that, which you can't have. If you're gonna be an elite football team, you just can't have them things. I know we had coaches out, and obviously McCoy is out. We had injuries, whatnot, but that's still no excuse for the way they performed. Y'all are all professionals. You all get paid, and that was the worst offensive line game I've seen from the Saints. Maybe in the last 10, 15 years. That was straight pathetic. Like, even when we were blocking people and did pick people up, we were missing blocks. We were chasing defensive linemen all over the field. Had Jameis Winston running for his life and things like that. Like I said, man, they're just not on the same page. I don't know, what they have to do to get back on that same page, but everybody needs to be, flowing in the same direction, because when the offensive line is flowing in the same direction, this team will be tough to beat. This offense will be tough to stop. I mean, that Packers game, they were hitting it on all cylinders and things like that. But the Packers also didn't put as much pressure, on the D line, on the offensive line to adjust and slide left, slide right. They didn't Panthers had 6, 7 guys, on the line of scrimmage and bailing guys out, from different directions and things like that. So they were definitely much more aggressive on the front than the Packers were. So that kind of confused us a little bit. Also, the center definitely gets the bulk of the blame, because the Saints did change their protection call outs to the center, which it's good and bad on that. I think it should be the quarterback. But understand, with Winston's first time starting in over a year, it's a lot of pressure on him already to get the plays in, make sure receivers and people are lined up correctly. So giving that job to the center is not a bad thing, honestly, because it takes just something off Jameis' plate. But Ruiz did a terrible job at it. I mean, like I said, man, that's just the world we live in. You start in there, you get the blame for it. That's your job, and you didn't do your job well. So I'm not gonna kill him too much, because obviously it's McCoy's job. When they did this, they were giving that job to McCoy to call out these protections, and this is third year for McCoy. So it was his job to call out protections this year. Get the offensive line in correct situations. Obviously, he goes down. Now Ruiz is just thrown in that fire of calling out protections. And if you remember Ruiz from the offseason, he said he did no snaps at center this summer. Strictly guard. He only worked on guard. So with him, only working on guard, he didn't get those reps at center, and now he's thrown into that fire at center, and he's come up against a good defensive front in Carolina. And now he's just in the fire. Looks confused, looks lost, missing assignments, not blocking anyone on some plays, and it showed that he wasn't ready for that job, and obviously looks like the Saints converting him to full-time guard was the correct decision, because at least he has the capabilities of playing center, but mentally it's not there. Mentally it's not there yet. He's not there yet. It's not that's not an issue, because obviously we have a starting center, but when we're gonna move you in that position to be the center, you have to be ready for that. Next up, Ruiz and Pete at center and left guard. I wish I could never see that again in my life. It's so bad. It was plays where both of those guys were just not blocking anyone. It was just Ramczyk and Armstead, and then the centers and guards just were, man, it was bad. Just know it was bad. Like, I watched that film again, and it was one play where Pete, was pointing to Ruiz, and Ruiz is pointing to Pete, and they're just both just not blocking anyone. It's plays where you can clearly see Ruiz and Pete just standing around, just looking while guys are coming from the edge and things like that. And it's plays where Ruiz is not blocking and Pete's chasing. It's just a lot going on, and they have to get that fixed, or I never want to see them next to each other again. Someone needs to be in the middle of them, because them two next to each other just was all bad for this thing. Super bad. So I would like to not see that again. Obviously, McCoy is still out, so that's probably not, going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, their chemistry was piss poor. Next up, I know Jameis. Everyone's trying to kill him. Everyone's trying to like baby him, coddle him. He deserves some blame. Let's just throw it out there. He deserves some blame from this. I'm not gonna kill him, and I'm not gonna say he doesn't deserve any blame. But obviously, he's the quarterback. He deserves some blame. I mean, if we're being honest, this is the same. I'm not gonna compare him to Drew Brees. This is the same line, but we had, for the last couple of years. Obviously, Ruiz, it's his second year and things like that. So the line isn't bad. These guys can block. Obviously Pete has his up and down moments, but these guys aren't terrible. It's just the scheme and protection. Jameis has to get with the center. They have to make sure they're on the same page. And if you see the center's not doing a good job, you have to take responsibility. And you have to see these blitzes coming, call out protections, or get into place where you can get the ball out your hands faster and things like that. But like I said, I'm not gonna kill him. He didn't play a great game, didn't play a good game by any means, but he didn't have help. They didn't give him a chance to play a good game. He wasn't in position to have a good game. And last but not least, actually two more things. I do think we should have ran more running back protections. I know we have Alvin Kamara, so we never rarely use the running back to block like most teams. But the way they were getting after us, they should have adjusted after the first quarter, second quarter. That okay, we're obviously confused up front. Let's just leave Kamara in the backfield. Let's run some 4 wide receiver sets. Leave Kamara in the backfield. Now we got 6 guys blocking, and things like that. And we just try to get open with 4 because having Kamara, leak out the backfield, trying to run routes, it was killing us because they were just, free runners running through. And if Kamara was back there, maybe he could have picked up a guy or two here or there, and maybe could have got, some better plays off. So I do think we should have done that, but I understand why we didn't because it's Alvin Kamara. He's not in the game to block. He's in the game to run routes and get open, get mismatches and things like that. But yeah, the last thing that has to go on Sean Payton. He has to get a lot of this blame. I think that was one of the worst games he's called in a while. But I also can't give him all the blame because maybe he called a great game. Just maybe we couldn't get into any of the plays because we just couldn't block. So it's blame to go around for everyone. Ruiz, Pete, Ramczyk even played bad at some points. Armstead, so it's just blame to go all the way around, man. I have to watch the game again for the 3rd time. I'll actually pay attention to the receivers this time to see if separation is a problem, if that's a huge issue, or was it just the blocking schemes and things like that. I know it's definitely an issue against the Packers. Even though Jameis threw for 5 touchdowns, separation was definitely an issue. From the receivers, I should say. So I'll definitely watch one more time. I'll let y'all know what I think on that, what I saw on that. And man, thank y'all for tuning in, man. We'll be better. We'll be better than this. We're not this, bad of a team. But I do know one thing. If the Panthers confuse you, Bill Belichick is definitely gonna, be on that same type of energy. He's definitely gonna have people at the line trying to confuse Jameis, trying to confuse the center and the lineman. So we'll see what that brings, man. But yeah. I'll be back on here, later. I'll drop a couple videos this week. We'll see what's going on. But thank y'all for tuning in once again. I'm out.